What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and we are back with our weekly roundup of rules, queries, and clarifications in the Transformers trading card game. The lovely folks over at Wizards do give us a weekly roundup of all the big new rulings and questions and all of that people are asking about. And I thought, you know what? Seems like my kind of job to come and explain it and show some pictures and all of that. As always, if you need any extra clarification, do please pop a question down below, and I'm sure either myself or somebody else will be able to answer it. And if not, we can always send an email to Wizards. So starting off then, a ruling which I was fairly sure about, but it seems kind of like cheating and it works and it's great. Does Jetfire's ability bypass tech research and allow me to attach cards like Superior Jetpack and Superior Plating? Now, Jetfire has a very, very nice ability, whereby when you flip it into bot mode, you can put an armor or utility from your scrap pile onto this character. Now, there's a couple cards in Wave 2, which are just frankly great. Superior Plating gives you Tough 4, which is amazing. Superior Jetpack gives you Pierce 4, which is amazing. The downside of playing those cards is tech research. You've got to play tech research first and then play them, which means that you've got to have both of them in your hand at the same time, and it gets super awkward. Not with Jetfire, ladies and gentlemen. Jetfire can get them straight back, which incidentally makes Jetfire way better because you're more likely to flip them when attacking or defending anyway. That's far more likely to happen. So they're probably going to end up in your scrap pile. So for you to get these ridiculous upgrades, all you need to do is flip the character. Incidentally, the ruling would be the same for Hunker Down, which lets you flip all of your characters from bot mode to tank mode and then put an armor from the scrap pile onto it. So you could use this with any tanks to get Superior Plating. You wouldn't be able to attach it normally, you would from the scrap pile. That's insanely good. Now, there are a pair of cards in Wave 2 which are genuinely, by the very literal definition of the word, broken. They let you break the rules of the game. So we have got Ancient Wisdom that lets you play Unleash Potential, and Unleash Potential lets you grab a card that you own from outside the game that costs a star and put it into your hand. That's a little bit crazy good. Lets you grab a card like Universal Network Access that lets you draw 3 cards, or as I'm concerned, possibly the best battle card. No, I'm going to say it. The best battle card we've had so far, Leap of Faith, which lets you play 2 cards off the top of your deck. It's redonk. But you can't play them if you've got a 25-star deck, etc., etc. No. These just let you grab it. Well, there's been some rulings here. Some clarifications, as you will. Firstly, as we knew already, but it's really nice to have the clarifications, to be completely sure, yes, this will break the 25-star limit. So if you're playing a deck like MENASOR, where you've got to play 25 stars worth of characters, you can use this combo to get some star cards in and push you up over. Ancient Wisdom lets you scrap the top 2 cards of your deck, and then put an upgrade and an action into your hand. What happens if you scrap 2 actions or 2 upgrades? Choose. You can't take them both, but you can take whichever one you like. There we go. Nice and easy. Universal Network Access, or indeed any star card. What happens if you end up with more than 4 of these? Because remember, along with the 25-star per deck rule, we've also got a rule that you can only have 3 copies of any battle card in your deck. This lets you break that. You can use this to end up with, I think the example I gave in my video was 7 bolts of lightning in one deck. Just like how the new Grimlock lets you have more than 1 copy of the same character card, just so long as it's a Dinobot. Yeah, when I said it breaks the game, I really meant that. Now, there's a new card coming in Wave 2, Attack Drone. Attack Drone says that when you play it on a character, you may play another Attack Drone, and up to 3 of them can fit in 1 weapon slot. So what happens when you form one of those characters to which you've attacked multiple Attack Drones into a combiner, like Volcanicus, because I love him? Yeah, you transfer all of them over. Essentially, you can transfer a weapon. Think of Attack Drone as, even if you've got 3 of them, it counts as a weapon. You can transfer all of them over at once. Attack of the Drones. Now, I said this during my crash landing video, but I love getting confirmation on this because we all make mistakes. I make mistakes. Love that we get this clarification. Crash landing reads, put on planes only. When the upgraded character is KO'd during your opponent's turn, do damage equal to its attack total to a tapped enemy. So what happens if you've got grenade launcher on there and you haven't attacked so it hasn't fallen off? Yeah, +4 attack. It is not the attack written on the character card, it is the total attack including any upgrades etc. which are on there. Very nice indeed. What about Tooth and Claw? Now, Tooth and Claw is a new upgrade card that we're getting in Wave 2. It's a utility, but it then lets you have a weapon in your armor slot. So you can essentially have Tooth and Claw and then 2 weapons, rather than having a weapon and an armor. Very nice. Well, what happens if you end up getting your Predaking? Can you then go and have a weapon in Predaking's armor slot? Let's say grenade launcher. And the answer is, heck yeah, of course you can. Because you move Tooth and Claw over, which lets Predaking have a weapon in its armor slot. Now, obviously, if you don't move over Tooth and Claw, then you don't get to have grenade launcher in the armor slot. But as long as you move over Tooth and Claw as well, go nuts. Now, very similarly to the attack drone ruling, if we've got Motormaster, which is a truck, that has 2 cargo trailers attached to it, and you form it up into MENASOR, can you keep 2 or 3, if it's on there, cargo trailers, given that MENASOR is not a truck? And the answer is yeah, because you're forming up. Again, don't think of cargo trailer as you can have 3 cargo trailers in your utility slot. Think of cargo trailer as all 3 of them make up 1 utility, and you are just moving over that utility. It's really good. Gives you a very nice advantage. Makes cargo trailer better, and like I said, it's very much like the attack drone ruling we looked at a moment ago. Now, there is a new card that we haven't got round to on this channel yet. Don't worry, we will. Steamroll. Steamroll is a very nice card that is literally Grimlock's ability. Choose one of your characters. When it does more than enough attack damage to KO an enemy, your opponent chooses a character to take that. Just like Grimlock's bot mode skill. It's very nice. So nice, in fact, it doesn't get an icon. We'll look at it properly later. But the ruling query here, what happens if you've got 3 damage left over and you're attacking with Dirge? And it just so happens that the amount left over, let's say 3 damage, is exactly the same as the amount it would take to KO another character. So Dirge has a lovely little skill in bot mode that if you do exactly enough damage to KO, you get to untap Dirge. So here, oh, I'm doing 3 damage too much. Ah, gosh darn it, I don't get to untap. Oh, but that 3 damage then exactly KOs one of my opponent's other characters. Does that untap Dirge? And the answer is no, for the exact same reason as we've seen with Grimlock in the past. It is attack damage initially. When it is transferred to another character, it is no longer attack damage, and therefore, you're not doing enough damage to KO. You're doing non-attack damage, which doesn't count. We've had the Grimlock ruling that the extra damage from Grimlock is not attack damage, but it is very nice to know that you can't use this for Dirge. If you want to play Dirge, does make him a bit weaker than he would otherwise be, but it's nice to have the ruling. And then there are a couple of beautiful little questions. I want to remind everyone that we're all fairly new to this game. Some people are very new, and we do get questions sometimes which do need to be answered. I just thought that it was lovely that these were answered in the FAQ. At the start of the game, does a player who has battle cards with a star cost, let's say Leap of Faith, have to tell their opponent? If yes, do they have to tell them how many and which cards they are? Nope. The deck is essentially private information as in any TCG, and my favourite question we've had answered on the FAQ so far. At the start of the game, are players allowed to look through each other's decks? To which the answer was, if both players agree to it, sure. However, it's not part of the official rules of the game. I love this. I also love that Transformers are answering these questions on a weekly basis, making sure that we have all these things answered. And I would obviously, as always, ask people to remember, sometimes we're very new, and some of these rulings might seem obvious to us, but they're not obvious to other people, let's make sure we're all being lovely people that are helping everybody else, because the more people that play this game, the more likely it is that this game's going to carry on and we all get to play it for longer. Let's all be nice to new players and help out with rulings and anything else whenever we can. Let's try and be nice people. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that'll do for this week's Rules Roundup. I will, of course, have another one in a week's time, but don't worry, there'll be plenty of other Transformers videos between now and then. For now, I'd like you to tell me what you think about all of these rulings. Tell me if any of them surprised you. Tell me if any of them change your deck building ideas. Go nuts, but please do remember the rule. Be nice, would ya? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where we do talk Transformers, but we also talk other games. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.